Hi beautifuls, welcome to YILDIZ Readings 5D. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover astrology and everything else I cover is above on the screen. Now, we don't like long intros, so my contacts are directly below, and how to book, what, where, why, how has been all left to the end. Those of you who have clicked the link, I do automate posts to keep you in the loop as when I'm coming live and where I'm going to be. So without further ado, let's get into the update and the real reason you're here. Enjoy. Grab a cuppa, sit back and relax. Love to hear your feedback. Taurus, are you ready for this week? You may need to be. Now, yes, we've got you covered. Now, if you do want to ask a question throughout this video, you can ask a free super chat question relating to anything that is coming up with you. We do, however, have a live session during the week. It's every Friday at 10 a.m. So it is on the screen. And if you want to come and join us there, we do have super chat questions there. However, they're $11. So if you do want to jump in, you can't afford a reading, you can ask, and it's for the first 20 only down below. Now, without further ado, let's get into the update. Now, we are covering both singles and couples and your overall month of what's coming through in different domains. And this is because this month, quite honestly, is very unstable. And especially for your zodiac sign, you're really governed towards that stability and how to get that structure. And you have a lot coming at you this month. So we really want to help you both in your romantic life and with the other areas, get the best out of it, as well as we will have an additional romance read. Now, with the crystal, you do have a crystal that is asking you to use your mind, and it is a mind over matter kind of a month. It's very Mercury in orientation. This is to calm that hyperactivity. And again, because we do have Mercury retrograde in the house of Libra, for you, this can be very destabilizing. And so the highest of advice is, one, this crystal can really assist you at this point. And I do see your zodiac sign really going through a realm of trying to find the deeper reasons, but also to have faith. And this can be quite testing. I do feel for many of you this month, you can feel that you're going backwards, and there can be things from the past actually coming back, and that can be good and bad things. So it depends on how it plays out for us, but it can be this psychology that, oh my gosh, we're going backwards. Are we actually going forwards? When in fact, the things that we're doing may relate to the past, but they're for our future. I am seeing with many of you, this nervousness can be surrounding the upheaval, especially as we move into mid-month and the new moon in Libra. You can have some major changes, and this can really relate to your health and your well-being. It's also to do with how you actually structure things, and I'm feeling that you're going to be pretty strict with yourself to really grab everything and get them where they need to be. There can potentially be some imbalances inside of connections at the moment, and that can be to do with what you're doing and other people are doing, and really maybe critiquing it and feeling as though the respect factor isn't there. I do feel if you're doing too much, to really delegate and ask for that help. I do feel that can desensitize the situation, but really, really important to look after your well-being. Those of you who are in a connection at the moment, we'll just briefly touch on this to have a look, and we will deal with the couples and singles. There's things from the past in a painful experience, and it can be feeling as though things are coming back up again, feeling of disillusionment, of failure. But the disappointments of the past are coming up, and I do feel these are candid conversations. I also feel you're wanting to touch base on some sort of a cross wire in your love life. And this can also be talking to people of the past and making peace with them, even if you're in an incredibly happy relationship. Sometimes if we have had a situation play out with a person from the past, yes, because we're in Mercury retrograde, these can be people from the past coming back. This can be of an apology nature, but it also can be the circle of friends surrounding you. I do feel for some of you, if there had been something that you kept tucked inside and you didn't really want to express it, and it's something you're really mulling over, it's almost like you have to really get to a point you do have that communication. But I think you may be really thinking about, okay, how will this person directly take what I'm about to articulate to them? You're not really knowing how and what the outcome's going to be. And again, it is this vibration where you're trying to be earnest and honest, but you're feeling there could be an adverse kind of outcome, so to speak. So there can be some eggshells that potentially you can be walking on. I feel if you are quite unsure, you know, sit with it for a little bit and break down, a little bit like the traffic light analogy that I do recommend to the people that follow me on YouTube, which is red, intense, okay, stop. Green, go to the heart space, but look at the bigger picture of what you want to get out of it. Sometimes we can paint those self-fulfilling prophecies of how a person's going to relate, but the other is, you know, coming from the purity of intention of what it's for. I feel if you're at a crossroad, this can be a time that you're really looking at how is the give and take, and are you happy within a connection? And if the boundaries aren't there and it is causing stress, and this has been a situation that's been playing out for a while, it can really come to a head by mid-month. I do feel this going backwards is almost like feeling you've picked the wrong path, or feeling that, you know, it could be doomed to fail. I don't necessarily feel that's the case, but I do feel spiritually everything's going to move incredibly fast. So we're kind of gathering our thoughts prior to actually addressing some of these big areas. Those of you who are single, similar trends are actually coming through for your side of the fence. So I do feel, especially for those of you on the fence, not knowing what to do, you can really resonate on both sides. Again, something from the past that hasn't been let go of is coming up. And sometimes we can feel psychologically that if we do have a romantic feeling for somebody, that we'll have to say no. And what I mean by that is, if something didn't work in the past, you can be saying to yourself, well, what is the potential that it's going to be successful in the future? And again, it is about healthy boundaries. It doesn't mean to say that there won't be a successful outcome, but it's about really taking the time to gauge that situation, but also knowing that you are within your power, and it doesn't mean that things won't change. Sometimes the nervousness of how is that change going to be, and does that change necessarily have to be bad? And if it is where you do have your power and you can say no if you don't feel quite ready to. Some of you may be wanting to hear from a romantic interest, but some of you may be feeling that right now may not be the right time, or that the fashion in which they're coming towards you in, spiritually you may be thinking that the value system isn't matching. Again, I do feel that many of you aren't wanting to go backwards, you're wanting to go forwards. You're happy to go backwards in a sense of returning to someone you deeply love, but you also psychologically don't want to lose that foundation of what you have built. And that's okay too, and I'm not feeling you will lose that, providing you keep your hand on the steering wheel. During the month, we're going to dig deep throughout the weeks, so stay tuned because we are going to dig deep further. And when I do tune into the other areas of your life, potentially I might have a conversation piece relating to your love if I can see it affecting other domains. Now, yes, this month is one of those months that with our career, with our health, with the external situations, they can be impacting our love life, especially because the Mercury element is retrograde in a Venus house, and you directly, Taurus, are a Venus energy. For those of you working at the moment, I feel some of you are feeling that, you know, something has reached a cycle. Maybe something's not going to be as stable as you thought. You can be looking at ways you can change it. And I do feel by the time we do move to the new moon and even beyond, there still can be some challenges, but it is about that accountability. It's about really looking at the devil in the detail and becoming quite structured in your routine so you can dress for success to have the best out of this. I do feel if there has been interruptions and unhealthy boundaries, it's almost like cramming that homework, but really looking at the bigger picture of what you feel you connect to. 100% there are a lot of changes, but next year we really have the North Node in Taurus, and this is going to mean a great deal of change for you, Taurus. I feel your soul is calling you to do things differently. I also feel that you know that you're entering into a realm, some of you especially going from maybe being unemployed to being employed. There's this transitional cycle that Taurus is moving through at the moment. And I do feel for those of you that are unemployed, you're trying to step back from people that are maybe taking you off your path, but you're really trying to tune into maybe the economic state of things and what you feel would be correct for you. If you are going to do a short course, this can be a time after we have Mercury retrograde to assess such. And I do feel the last 2 months of the year are really going to be one of those things where we're going to be cramming to get the foundation correct so we can usher love and contracts back in a very balanced, structured fashion. I also feel with money, if something hadn't gone according to plan, be it it's relating to your career, be it it's something that you need to tell your partner or your love interest, or it's a fair-based frequency, this can also be, you know, dealing with a romantic interest, and maybe for some of us that have been through separations, looking at, okay, separations and divorces, what would that mean? You know, are you going to be able to keep your stability there? And it is to do with what is correct for you. So again, it is about speaking your truth and feeling it. But I do feel for some of you, you could be speaking to an individual who's a professional, but also trying to correct things, maybe even relating to tax and documentation, and maybe even business management. For some of you, this can be receiving a very stable contract, and this can be a very passionate month for both couples and singles. And definitely when it does come to your contracts, this is the go month, Taurus. I do feel externally, follow through the things that you're guided to do. If it is leveling up, if it is getting your health checks done, if it is, you know, making sure that you are, you know, in good fitness so that you can do everything you need to in your working day, and you're creating that structure and balance, you're actually going to get quite a bit out of it. And the success I'm seeing can come by the 2nd and the 3rd week, especially if finances have been lagging. But the important thing is, if you have made commitments to individuals, you know, it's almost like you feel this necessity, and I feel it's in a networking stage, is to keep those commitments. I'm also hearing that just because you do such, and that's your honor and integrity, it doesn't mean to say people don't love you if they're unable to. And you also can say no. Okay, so if between you and a romantic interest there is an issue, maybe scheduling, maybe things going on in your life, don't feel that this person's going to run away if you are speaking your truth and say, hey, look, I actually have something going on. I do feel this person is going to continue to come back, and especially for those of you in coupledoms, this is a restructure, but it is important to, you know, communicate effectively this month. It's one of those months we have to be very, very careful. I do feel ultimately a lot of you can be feeling run down at the moment. And some of you, it's to do with the stresses that are coming up. I feel for some of you, if something was hidden, it's all, I don't know why I'm saying fem checks. For some of you, it's fem checks, especially during Mercury retrograde. And I also feel anything that's hidden, it's potentially going to come through in the 3rd week. Okay, for some of you, I am seeing a situation playing out with mother. But I feel this is a private conversation. I feel this private conversation is going to help you dig to a solution. But it's also asking you to really sit with it and see what's going to be correct for you, regardless of what external influences are doing. I do feel also not only are you needing to do a lot more in your month, but a lot more people are needing on you. And so it's going to be quite critical that you structure your week by week, you know, really jotting down what you need to do so it isn't going to start interfering and directly affecting your health. I would guide you to keep your fluid up, and I'd also guide you to do a little bit of solar plexus, okay? Because the solar plexus is going to give you healthy boundaries. You can also drink lemon water, which is really going to create that firm boundary. But if you are feeling unhinged, do some guided meditation for the crown chakra and keep the fluid going. Ultimately, with your love life and your decisions, I do feel there's some sense of a secret. And it doesn't have to be that this is a toxic situation, but it's almost like you feel if this comes out, it's going to take the stability away. So you are operating in this situation throughout the month quite cautiously because you do actually want a good outcome. Some of you may be not knowing what you want as the outcome, but you definitely want enough time to make those adjustments and decisions. We will have an additional read and many more throughout the month relating particularly to romance alone, and I am live on Fridays for the twin flame update. So if you do want to come and join us, you can. We do have super chats at $11 a super chat. Otherwise, you can ask for the first 20 free questions down below. Stay tuned. This romance situation is looking juicy. Thanks for joining YILDIZ Readings. If you do need to find the link for the Members Hub, it is directly below in the information box, or you can see above on the screen, it's on the main page. Now we have 3 tier levels, as well as on Fridays, we are live on the main platform. By clicking the bell, I automate posts for both the members and the main page, plus any additional information I feel you need. The website is been updated and we do have a lot more content on it, as well as new products coming in 2022. If you do want to join webinars, we have the list, as well as the launch of the Age of Aquarius with a VIP list. For all my other media content, follow me live on the links below. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, we all have it covered, and we have more content coming. See you during the week.